Good afternoon. We're live and in the world on a Adoration Friday and a Friday in Lent. If you have any prayer requests, intentions that you'd like to send my way for me to pray for you or for your intention tonight when I'm in Adoration, please contact me, comment, text me if you have my number, message me, and I'll be sure to add your intentions to my list. I'm going to talk about some cultural things that have been going on that I've commented on recently. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the whole societal shift in morality. We've embraced this moral relativism where you have a truth and I can have a truth and Jimmy can have a truth and Susie can have a truth, and it's all true, but it's not definitive the truth, which makes no sense. And the claim that there is no one truth is in itself proclaiming a one truth, so that whole argument doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. And we have to, as a culture, realize that there is a natural truth that God has embedded into our psyches, into our beings, that there is a truth. When it comes to morality, there is a set of moral standards that is written into our fiber, and when you pull on one of those strings, things fall apart. Blessed Pope Paul VI in Humanae Vitae talked about this in terms of contraception and abortion, what it does to the beauty that is sex and what the impact it can have on society. And wow, was he prophetic in what he said. Just looking at our culture completely falling apart. We have San Francisco's school board or city council or whatever voting to distribute condoms to middle schoolers. Yeah, they got to go see the nurse to get one. But the idea that a middle school aged kid, and they're a kid, let's be real about this, can go to a school nurse without parental consent to obtain a contraceptive to go off and have sex. That idea that we will be okay with this, I can't wrap my head around it. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. And that's just one of the symptoms that this so-called sexual revolution that happened in the 60s and 70s, that is truly a cancer. This moral relativism is a cancer on society. And just to see that, and then you see all the research coming out with porn and how it's a drug. Pornography is a drug. What it does to the brain is very much similar to what drugs do to the brain. And sometimes pornography is worse than some of these street drugs. Just the list goes on and on and on and on. And something I'd also like to share with you is that I too struggle with the vice of lust, with pornography, masturbation, that whole thing. And I've struggled for years, since high school. I graduated college 2011, so that's 5 years ago almost already. And so, I mean, I'm in a place where I'm far removed from where I used to be. I'm in a good place. I'm moving in a really good direction in the last couple of years. But in 2009, when I decided to fight that, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I thought, okay, I'm just going to stop this. Cool, no problem. But when I actually worked to stopping, I realized how much of a part of my life that became. And being in a place now where I can look back and see the path that I took and how it influenced different events in my life. And then I look at similar age people now, I can see the same things. And what's particularly painful is when people say, oh, you can't get addicted to this stuff. Oh, this stuff isn't a problem. It doesn't hurt anybody, blah, blah, blah. Again, this whole moral relativist thinking that, oh, it's just a private decision by one person. It doesn't affect anybody. When we talk about rape culture and having been, deep in, not involved in the industry, but deep in pornography, you really get to see what people are fantasizing about, what they're craving. There is a lot of rape porn. It's disturbing, and by the grace of God, I never desired that kind of porn. But the fact that rape porn exists, incest, abuse, all that is portrayed for people because they fantasize about that. They receive pleasure from that is quite disturbing. It's sickening when you think about that. And then you wonder why there's such a problem with this rape culture. Again, when it comes to rape culture and discussing rape, it's always the fault of the perpetrator, first off. There is no debate on that. But when you see what's out there in the porn world, when you see what's popular in the porn world, and you reflect on what's going on in terms of sexual morality in society, you begin to connect the dots. When you separate sex from the loving union and procreative purpose between a man and a woman in marriage, you take that away, and now you're just fully using it for self-pleasure and self-desire with the human natures that we have, things go off the rails very quickly. And they have. Look around. You got sexual abuse and assault problems all over this country on college campuses everywhere. And people are finally seeing this. And it's great that people are finally strong enough to report these problems. I mean, think about how long people didn't report these incidences. And still don't. People still are too afraid to report on it. You see those problems. You see, like, again, in San Francisco, we're providing contraception access to middle schoolers, 6th, 7th, 8th grade kids that are barely entering puberty. It's disturbing. Especially to someone like myself and others like me who fight this every single day. Some fight it every minute. By the grace of God, I'm in a place where I don't necessarily fight it every day, but I'm in a place where a couple times a month, I'm in a storm. I'm in a big storm, and it's hard. And when you see people going around promoting this hyper-sexualized society, saying, oh, porn is great, it's awesome, that troubles me, because luckily, porn hasn't destroyed my life, but it's certainly destroyed others people's lives, marriages, careers. It's an epidemic in this society, and I'm glad that the science is coming out about how bad porn is. You don't need it. You shouldn't desire it. We're human. We desire sexuality because it's part of our nature. Sure, we can't deny that. But the one thing that separates us from animals is the fact that we're able to control our instincts. We're able to harness energies. That's what separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. And so if you're struggling with the vice of lust, pornography, masturbation, what have you, get help. Get help. Go to counseling. Get there's good software out there. Fortify is a great program. Covenant Eyes, great software. There's resources all over the internet. Because people are finally starting to realize how bad this is. And even Hollywood actors Terry Crews came out and is producing some really, I think, really great videos, candid videos, about him and his journey and helping other people. So, again, it's kind of a heavy video. It's 10 minutes long. I went on a rant. But if you're really struggling, confession, prayer, accountability, bring it into the light. Sin that remains in darkness will remain with you. You will not be able to... The only thing that can trounce darkness is not further darkness. It is light. That's the only way to combat it. So bring it out. dig it out. Some of you might have to dig deep to really come to grips with it, to realize how bad it is. And I did that a long time ago, and I'm again in a good place. Still got some work to do, but by the grace of God, I know that I will overcome, and you can too. That's all I got. Heavy video, I know, but it's an important thing to talk about. Remember to love God, love neighbor, and to have a blessed day, and keep on fighting. Or start fighting.